Night after night it returned. John tried to barricade the doors, but the skinwalker's strength was beyond human. Every window rattled, boards splintered, and he could hear the subtle dragging of claws across the floor outside. His cell phone flickered with life despite the storm. Low light glowing, symbols and scratches appearing across the screen. It felt alive. Attempting communication, or maybe a warning. John couldn't call for help. He was trapped. And the thing, it was patient, waiting for him to break. The storm had passed, but the real nightmare was just beginning. This is part 2 of John's harrowing ordeal. If you missed the first part, be sure to check it out. For now, let's rejoin John, trapped in his remote homestead, as the night closes in. The winds died down, replaced by an eerie, unnatural silence. The kind of quiet that makes the hairs on your arms stand up. John peered out the window. The world outside was a canvas of deep blues and blacks, broken only by the pale light of the moon. That's when he saw them. At the edge of the woods, where the trees met his property line, figures moved. They were tall, gaunt, and moved with a jerky, unsettling gait that wasn't quite human. Skinwalkers, the old Thales' grandfather, used to whisper about weren't just stories. They were a warning. Panic seized him, a cold, icy grip around his heart. He double-checked the locks on the doors and windows, his hands trembling. The homestead, once his sanctuary, now felt like a cage. There was no escape. The nearest neighbor was miles away, and the storm had knocked out the phone lines and cell service. He was utterly alone. He grabbed his grandfather's old hunting rifle from above the fireplace, the cold steel a small comfort in his hands. A scratching sound started at the front door. Not like an animal, but like long, sharp nails dragging slowly across the wood. Scrape, scrape. John's breath hitched. He backed away from the door, aiming the rifle, his knuckles white. Then a voice. It whispered his name, a dry, raspy sound that seemed to slither through the cracks in the walls. It sounded like his mother, who had passed years ago. "John," it cooed, "let us in, son. It's cold out here." A wave of revulsion and terror washed over him. He knew it was a trick. The legends always said they could mimic voices, luring you out. "You're not my mother," he screamed, his voice cracking. A chorus of guttural laughter answered him from outside, a sound that chilled him to the bone. They were toying with him. The scratching stopped at the door and started at a window on the side of the house. Then another, and another. They were surrounding the homestead, testing every weak point. He spent the night moving from room to room, a ghost in his own home, the rifle a permanent extension of his arms. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of leaves outside sent a fresh jolt of adrenaline through him. They never tried to break down the door or smash a window. They were patient. They whispered things only he could know: childhood fears, private regrets, the names of loved ones. It was a psychological assault, a cryptic message designed to break his will. They weren't just trying to get in. They were trying to dismantle his sanity piece by piece. As dawn approached, the whispers and scratching faded. The first rays of sunlight cut through the gloom, and with them, the figures at the edge of the woods retreated back into the shadows of the trees. John collapsed onto the floor, utterly exhausted but alive. He had survived the night. But he knew this was just the beginning. It was a valiant effort, one night of defiance against an ancient evil. But as he looked out at the silent woods, he knew they would be back. The siege had begun, and the real horror story was far from over. Thanks for watching. If you want to know what happens next in John's fight for survival, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We'll see you in the next part.